It's time to have a chat, I think. Good morning, everyone. Very, very interesting weekend. And some of the reaction has been unbelievable yet again. We're going to talk a little bit about the game yesterday and some of the reaction from it, some of our thoughts and feelings from it, how some of the fans have reacted. What your thoughts are in the chat, I'd love to know how you're feeling as a Gooner right now. We thought we'd go live this morning. We don't usually do a Monday morning show, but we thought instead of doing last night, we'll sleep on it, try and calm down a bit. You saw the raw reaction from myself and judges, and you saw my fan cam on my channel and race for, This Is London last night when I got back. And I've got to be honest with you, I think the majority of people I've spoken to are feeling the same. However, there's a few that aren't. And I don't really understand those individuals. It just seems that there is this manager that we have that cannot do anything wrong to a certain section of the fan base. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I want to get Lee's reactions. Now, I know you've done Forever Arsenal. I haven't watched it yet. It's only literally just come out, I think, Judge. So I will watch that because, without being too biased, that probably is one of my favourite Arsenal podcasts that you do with Jordan, James and Turkish. I've got to be honest, mate. I watched yesterday and I knew exactly what I was going to be getting before the ball had even kicked off. I just knew. And we did a preview show on here, and I said to you, what do you think the team's going to be? And me and you were trying, I think, to be a little bit positive. I think he might go with 3. I think he might go. But deep down, we both knew what that team was going to look like. Deep down, we both knew that midfield 3 was going to continue to play. And deep down, we knew what we were going to get. Now, I went into this game yesterday, judges, before I come to you, and I went to the pubs, and I said to my dad, I think he's going to play Marino. What do you think? And he went, my dad likes Arteta, right? This is where we are a little bit different. My dad likes Arteta, wants him to get right, thinks he's made some mistakes, but he believes that he's going to do it, if we stick with him. Nothing wrong with that. No problem with that whatsoever. And I don't agree with that. And he's got no problem with me thinking that. Because we're family, we get on. Some people in the fan base can't do that, have to shout at each other, right? But there's an example of 2 people that are very close that see things completely differently, right? My dad sees football completely differently to me at times, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I got to the pub, I was at the Jewels with the boys, and not one person could explain what that team selection was all about. Nobody got it, judges. My dad, you know these names. I'm not going to say them all, because it wouldn't be fair on here, but you know everybody that I hang about with. Not one person come up to me and went, oh, yeah, I think that's still a really good team, though. I think they'll still beat them. I'm still buzzing for it. I ain't deflated. I don't know what you're talking about. I think that is exactly the team I would have picked. No one can understand the Eze thing. Now, I don't know that anyone was massively shocked that Marino played.
Nah,
and I'll say this again. I don't think Marino individually is the issue. And I'll make that very clear. I don't particularly think he's unbelievable by any means. I think he's a squad player. A squad player shouldn't be starting in that situation, in my opinion. That is not your best team. I do not mind going a little bit more resolute away from home if it's at the Bernabeu, or maybe if it's at the Nou Camp, or maybe it's at Inter Milan, who are very, very defensive. Maybe you're going away at the Etihad, or maybe at Anfield, and you might think, okay, he's got to get it right. I don't really agree with it, but I can at least say, get out there with something and then stink something and go to your next game. We're at home against a team that I think are probably at their lowest in the last 10 years. They have been phenomenal, Manchester City. I have never seen a team this dominant since Sir Alex Ferguson. They ain't dominant now. They've got O'Reilly at left back. They had Kusanov, and then they brought on Nunez at right back. They've got a centre-back pairing that has still just been put together that most of the time was playing at full-back. Diaz is the only centre-half they had. Vardiel was a left-back all last season for them. They've got a new goalkeeper that's played 1 game. They've got a midfield they're still trying to get the balance right with Rodri and Reinders and Foden. And the wingers are nowhere near the level of our quality. So I don't want anybody to say to me, well, it's Man City, tough game. It was 3 years ago. And I probably would have been different if I would have thought, how the hell have we gone 1-1 against them? The treble winners. We'll take that. Let's move. I'm not going to be happy with a point at home against the Man City side that got absolutely destroyed by Tottenham Hotspur. That got beaten up by Brighton. I ain't getting excited by drawing that. No way. Not at all. So I don't really understand how people can look at that team sheet and think, yeah, manager's got that spot on. Now, then he comes, he gets to half time and he throws on Eze and Saka. And I said something I regret yesterday. I give him praise for it. I don't actually want to praise him because you can praise him for saying, hold my hands up and got it wrong, but the damage is done, Judge. We're 1-0 down after 9 minutes, after you've set up with 7 defensive players. Somehow they've got through. That can happen. Haaland is a genius in front of goal. He don't miss, right? And now we're chasing the game, and they're sitting back. Oh, Pep was very defensive yesterday. Of course, because he's a genius. We ain't good enough against this Arsenal side, he's thinking. We're 1-0 up. Let's try and win this game somehow, because we're crap compared to them. They've got all the ball. We can't get a sniff on them. We can't put passes together. They had what? One more chance after the whole game? Doku had a couple of bits of nice, flatter to deceive moments. Foden hardly knew he was on the pitch. And then Pep does something which I've never seen him do before. You're an attacker, you're coming off. You're an attacker, you're coming off. You're an attacker, you're coming off. I need to try and see this 1-0 out because we ain't good enough here. They're going to score. And then we do score. Now, if we would have had Martinelli or Eza or both, or Ethan and Saka or one of or both from the start, we might not have been 1-0 down. They might have scored, but actually the score could have been 2-1 or maybe even 3-1. Or maybe it's 1-1 when you then bring on a couple more attacking players. Because the manager has got no ounce of cojones in him, as Troy Deeney said a few years ago, he is shit scared of any team that is bigger than Arsenal or better than Arsenal. So he then doesn't have any faith in the team he spent £1 billion on. He doesn't have any faith or trust in the defence to be good enough to see a win out. He doesn't have any faith in his attackers to score anything because they all got to defend. And he doesn't have any faith in his creativity in midfield because all he wants to do is put Marino, Rice and Zubimendi in. Now, I've said something for a while now about complementing each other. They are 3 players that do anything but complement each other. Anything but. We had Xhaka, Partey and Odegaard that were all very good individually when they were at Arsenal, but they all complemented each other massively. Yeah. I don't know that these trio complement each other at all. I think they're all very, very similar in their mindset. Definitely different technically on the ball. Zubimendi's different to Rice and Rice is different to Marino. But what it does is it shows that there's no flair, no expression of moving forward and no creativity at all. I like Rice. Me and you have disagreed over Rice's position. I love Rice. Love him. I don't see Rice threading balls through to people. I like Marino. I liked him up front. Thought he did a job for us. I don't see Marino threading balls through or putting in long-range passes. I love Zubimendi, and I've been a massive fan of him when he was at Sociedad and when I saw him at Spain in the glimpses. I've liked little parts of what he's done at Arsenal, but I don't see Zubimendi doing Mesut Ozil balls yet. I mean, apparently he can do them. I don't think he's done them for Arsenal yet. So where's Gyökeres going to get any service from? I said to my dad, the worst player on the pitch now will be Victor Gyökeres, and everyone will say he's crap. Well, you got to give it time. Yep, okay, let's give it time. And everyone, this Victor Gyökeres is awful. 0.01 XG. What an awful signing. Absolutely horrendous. I'd love to just see one-on-one. Please, someone thread a ball so we see what he's like one-on-one, because he ain't scored one yet one-on-one because no one's given him it. He's been in the box, which is great. He scored a penalty, which is great. And he's done a little bit of work against Leeds, which was good to see. But I want to see him being thread balls through. I want to see this guy, what he's like in front of goal. Because I'm told he's a killer. We ain't really seen it much at Arsenal because no one behind him is interested in giving him the ball. Even when Madueke come off, who I thought was all right yesterday, to be fair. Apparently he's got a knock. Saka and Eze coming on, I'm thinking, okay, but we were a little bit better going forward, but there still weren't any clear-cut chances. There weren't any, wow, this could be 3 or 4 if we had a striker, or wow, if Gyökeres had his shooting boots on, it could have been 5 today. There was still nothing from the manager that made me think he really wants to go for it. It was just different player personnel that have a little bit more attacking quality. So I remember saying to a couple of people on my show, and I can't remember who it was and when it was, it doesn't matter if we've got Haaland or Mbappe right now. The manager isn't setting us up to give them any chances of scoring. And this is essentially why I don't think we have the manager to get this squad across the line, Judge.
Can't argue with anything you said, Dan. You know what I mean? I'm like nodding my head like nodding donkey. For a couple of things first. I've done the Forever Arsenal yesterday after the game, so a lot of emotional still out of that game, still from that. Today I've had to think about it, and I'm going to try and not be as emotional as a rash, because you're wrapped up in the game and everything like that, right? I never lost it yesterday because of the three in midfield, because I knew that was going to be the midfield three, right? But before the game, you can go back to the starting 11 I've done on AFTV. I knew that was the type that team selection yesterday told me everything I know about this manager now, right? People turn around and say we're defensive, right? At the end of the day, we weren't defensive. It's not a defensive system when you play those three in there. It's a possession-based thing. It's not like, oh, we're putting in three holding midfield players and they're not going to do nothing. I don't know really what Rice's position is in this, because he's not an 8 and he's not a 6 when he plays this role. I don't really know what it is, if I'll be honest. I'll have to have another look at it and see what he's actually doing. He's sort of doing half and half. What it is to keep the ball and the creativity side of it. Well, don't worry about that. Let's just keep the ball. We keep the ball, right? The one that baffled me was like, okay, right, I get that, but you've got to have some sort of spark up front. You never had it against Liverpool. We're at home this time. But he then brings in Trossard. Now, Trossard, I don't want to criticise him too much. Neither. I like Trossard, but if you're playing that system, he's the last person you want in there. Now, I'll tell you why you want him as the last person in there, right? If you want to hit teams on the counter-attack, he hasn't got exactly blistering pace, right? So it would be Martinelli would be going. And if you have a look in the first half, there was one time we had a little flick round the corner. I think it was Gyökeres who actually done the flick round the corner. He's away. If that's Martinelli, he's away one-on-one. But he hadn't got the pace to get past the defender. The defender comes and puts it across. I don't know if you remember that, but I certainly did. Or you play Eze, who's going to be like in the little pockets trying to do things and whatever, like, you know. So like that was the baffling one for me. I've never ever for under Arteta gone to a stadium at a big game like that, and when the atmosphere was flat. It was flat yesterday, like, you know what I mean? Like, we've gone to Man City last season. It was electric in that stadium when Man City come here, like, you know, especially after what happened in the 2-2. It wasn't like that. Why was that? Let's think about it. It's a 4:30 kickoff on a Sunday. It's not like it's a 12:30 kickoff and everybody's a little bit tired and whatever. Everybody should be up for that game. I think a lot of fans felt like me yesterday when I walked into that stadium. I was deflated. I wasn't up for the game like I should have been. And the reason that I was not up for that game was because of that team selection. Down on me. I look back on that now. I regardless of what he picks, I should have been a little bit more up for it. So I blame myself for that. So the defensive side of it all, listen, you know what I mean? People will say, oh, look, you know, they're moaning again or they're not happy about this. I am not a Mikel Arteta out, as you well know, Dan. I'm there wanting him to do well, but I'm now at the stage where I'm thinking, like, I still want him to do well, but I'm not sure. I'm a little bit like your dad on it and with all that. Let's get this right first before we get it into context of what it is. I've walked away from that game yesterday annoyed that we've not beaten Man City. So he's put us in a position. But I've watched that Man City team against Tottenham. I've watched them against Brighton. And I've watched them in another game, Manchester United. Right, I watched them against Manchester. I've not been impressed with them in any of those games, Dan, where I think, whoa, I'm frightened of them. Whoa, dear, this is, whoa, oh. I looked at those 3 games. I said, I can't wait for them to come to the Emirates. Why isn't my manager doing that? Why is my manager looking at those 3 games and going, whoa, we've got to be a little bit worried about this? I don't understand that, Dan. Like, you know what I mean? I understand if the team's better than you. I've watched them over 3 games and they're winning titles like they've done with the De Bruyne's and everybody like this. And I'm thinking, hold on a minute, we've got to do that. I've watched them in 3 games. I've not been impressed with them. But my manager, who's got the best squad, better players, and at home, decides to go like all negative and not go for it. Now, couple of little facts. I didn't know this. Is someone what told me today or yesterday. Mourinho and Rice have played together 11 times, Dan, as a midfield pair. They've won once. What does that tell you? What does that tell you? We've played these three in midfield possession-based players against Bournemouth away, Liverpool away, Bilbao away, and City at home. We've won one. Right? We've lost the others 1-0, 1-0, and drew 1-1. Right? And the reason being, the Champions League, as you well know, is a completely different game to the league.
That's the only one we've won, Bilbao.
That's the only one we've won. It's a completely different game. It's a completely different game. Now, listen, at the end of it, that's the manager. He picks that team and all that, and he has to die by it. Now, what I don't like about Mikel the two things that have really, really annoyed me more than anything, right? He's in a press conference and he turns around and goes, "No one said anything about that when we beat Bilbao, right? One, yes, Mikel, we won the game. Two, we're away from home, and yes, we mentioned it very, very much against Liverpool." And you can go on about Jamie Carragher, and you can go on about Gary Neville, who are experts in the game and whatever, said it against Liverpool, and they said it again yesterday. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I don't know where he's getting that from, And then he turned around and says, "There's a better performance than when we beat them 5-1. Am I mad? Do you think I'm stupid? It's like he's got all of his disciples and they all believe him. You know what I mean? I'm not one of them. I'm not a disciple that follows the Mikel cult. I follow Arsenal and see it by results. And I'm not having crap like that put at me. And everybody go, "Oh, yeah." And now I hear a lot of people turning around and saying, it's all about Pep. How disappointing. You know what I mean? You got to give Mikel a load of credit, because have you ever seen Pep come and defend and all that? No, I've not seen Pep come and defend like that before, because he ain't got a better side than us no more. That's why that he done that, right? And at the end of the day, Russ, who's a great friend of ours, and I will mention him, Man City didn't come and give it a go. They were 1-0 up. We was 2-1 up there last season. All right, people slagging us off. You won't get me slagging off our performance at the Etihad last season. You know what I mean? Done exactly what we've done. We was unlucky at the end of the day. Sometimes you have to defend in games. I get that. You have to set up and defend. And, listen, and if he would have got the point at Liverpool last game out and all that, I would have gone, yeah, fair play to him. Right? I understand that to a certain degree, right? But this game, we're at home. You know what I mean? You've got to take home advantage. And I'm sorry, listen, I said the same thing. Give him credit where credit's due, that he did change the team. What does that tell you when he changes the team at half time?
He's got it wrong, or he knew he got it wrong.
He's got it wrong. Yeah, he's got it wrong. Brave enough to turn around and say, "Do you know what? I can change it. One's false, one maybe not." You know what I mean? Maybe one's forced. I don't know. But listen, good old Ronnie's in the chat. I love Ronnie. You know what I mean? This talk about Tottenham. Tottenham have got a lot of it. They went with the game against Brighton with 3 of those players in midfield, but they're away from home at Brighton. What happens? They're 2-0 down. What happens? He changes it, and they could have, and probably should have won the game. And Spurs fans are going, and I'm, why didn't he play the extra man in midfield? Why is he leaving Simmons out? Their big signing and all that. You know what I mean? I don't know why managers do this, Dan. I don't know. I don't know why they do it, right? But they do. So it's not just Mikel Arteta doing this. It's other teams doing it as well. Pep done it yesterday, beating all of his defensive. And I'm sure that if that was Arsenal away from home to the Etihad, we would have got absolutely pillared for it, right? But they ain't. You know what I mean? But that's a different thing. That's a different way of looking at it, right? The end of the day, I've managed teams. I know what it's like. If you're coming up against a better team than you, Dan, sometimes you have to change. whether you're home or away. I get that, but Arsenal are the better team. Manchester City ain't winning this league this year, right? You know what I mean? I looked at that game yesterday. If Arsenal were brave, I'm not saying go and play 6 players up front and all that. Like, I'm just saying, like, you know, this is my argument. Martin Odegaard's out. Okay. If he's fit, does he play? Yes, he plays. So why are you not putting a like for like in that thing? As Martin Odegaard was fit, he would play. So why are you not playing the same way? So I expect now Martin Odegaard not to be playing in any big game for Arsenal at home, right? But he will, because he believes in him what he does. So why doesn't he believe in Eze to do that, right? Maybe because he's not been at the club long enough, like, you know what I mean? He's brought in Wayne Yeary, give him a big contract, like, you know what I mean, to be the replacement. So, okay, he hasn't playing him. You know what I mean? Like, last season, he played Trossard in there. Do you remember when he was the replacement for Odegaard last season? Like, you know, be honest, it didn't work then. But nor is this system not working. And so I just don't understand the reasons for it. And you can go on about tactics and things like that. I just think at the end of the day, what I look at it and I think, do you know what? I've seen us now play 2 big games against Liverpool and Man City, and it's like, I don't fancy us here. I don't fancy us. I give it a little go against Liverpool. You know what I mean? Like, see what we do, but we didn't. And there's no excuses no more, Dan. He's got all the players there to go into that. Like, you know, that game there yesterday, we played with 8 players defensively. The goalkeeper, obviously, right? And like then 7 players defensively at home. I just listen, Dan. You know what I've said. I've praised Arteta in the last couple of games, right? Praised him. You know what I mean? Like, but when he gets it wrong, I'm going to say that he's got it wrong, and he got it wrong. I know. Me and you spoke before the game. We said we know what's coming here. You know what I mean? Like, you know, to be honest, I thought it was going to be 0-0. You know what I mean? Like, I thought we'd nick it 1-0. Even though with that team, I thought we'd nick it 1-0. But we, you know, and then when we concede the goal, Dan, right, of all those defensive players on, he's got one Haaland, the most lethalist striker in the world, is 1-on-1 with our goalkeeper, with all those defensive, you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what you put in there, it don't work. And then I look at the other thing with Gyökeres. I'm telling you this now, right? I'll put money on it. I've said it yesterday. I'll say it on the forever. I say this now, right? That if Kai Havertz was 100% fit, Gyökeres doesn't play in that game. Gyökeres won't play against Liverpool. He won't play against Manchester City, and he won't probably play against Spurs. It will be Kai Havertz, right? But we haven't bought Gyökeres for those games, Dan. It is the free the Leeds games and blah 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 blah, and he's doing his job. Because that game yesterday, they were all. It's a possession-based game. I reckon he's going mad inside. I've got to play him. I'm mad because he hasn't got the technical ability of a Havertz when he can hold the ball up and say, how many times did it break off of Gyökeres yesterday? 3, 4, 5 times, right? The reason being that he's not that great at doing it, right? Because he's a goal scorer, and 2, he's bloody isolated so much. Dan, you know what I mean? Like, so you've got to have someone that's going to hold the ball up, who's a midfield player that's got the attitude of, I'm not bothered about getting in the box. I'm not bothered about scoring. I'm more happy about possession based. He's perfect striker, isn't he? But when it comes to killer goals against the Man City, he ain't quite got it. So, you know, it's just so many things wrong about it at this moment in time. We can go on about it all day long, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, and at the end of it, it's been Martinelli that's come and got us out of trouble in the last couple of games. You know, I'd be really interested to see who he plays up front on on Wednesday. Very, very interesting, And listen, I just think that the last thing I want to say is before we go on to other things is Mikel's done fantastically well to get a second. But what is going to get us over the line? That's what I think the frustration is for me and other people. What is not going to get us over the line, Dan, is being cautious, being like we are, because that's got a second. We've got to be a little bit more expansive. Give it a little bit more of a go. Get over the line. You've got to burst over the line. You know what I mean? Liverpool are not going to give us this title, Dan, right? The way we're playing at the moment, it's like if Liverpool were like Manchester City or not quite as good, you can see them dropping loads of points as well. I can see what the mentality of it all, but they're not. It's not a marathon, like in a way. I know the league is a marathon, but this team's going to sprint and get too far ahead. What does he do next week against Newcastle? Does he go the same way, or what has he got to do? We've got to win at Newcastle now, whatever happens. A draw's no good, a defeat's, because it'd be 9 points. And then you're going to get another game when you're not quite right at home and it's 12 points. And then before you know it, the title's over. And that's the problem we've got now. Like, that was a game yesterday of home advantage. I don't think we took our home advantage. That's how I see it. I'm not one of these ones that's saying again, like, he's got to go now and get sacked now. But I don't see us winning the league. I think we've got a much, much better chance with this way that he plays and his mentality in the Champions League. But as you know, in the Champions League, you need a little bit of luck. So I don't know where if I'm a betting man, we're not winning the league. Then there you go.
We're not winning the league, and I didn't think we were going to win the league anyway. I'd have been absolutely stunned if we won the league this year, even with the summer we had. And it ain't because we've got crap players. It's because I don't think the manager's good enough to win us the league. The Champions League, people say we've got a good chance of winning that because of the way we're playing. Well, if we play like this in the Champions League, we're going out of there as well because we've already dropped too many points, in my opinion. And the way that we're playing, trust me, they're better in the Champions League than they are in the Premier League. So I don't think that we'll win that either. The only thing we can do this season is win a domestic cup, and that's if he takes it seriously. And I don't think that he will, because I think he believes this side can win the league or the Champions League, which it can, by the way, if he changed the way that he played. So I don't think that we're going to have a good season again. What frustrated me more than anything yesterday was the team selection. And then he changed it at half-time. Eze and Saka come on. You think, fair play. He's held his hands up and said he's got it wrong. And then he fucked up again. We're 1-0 down against the Manchester City side that can't get the ball, lead judges, and we've got Zubimendi and Rice still on the pitch playing together. Why? Take one of them off. We don't need 4 defensive players that can all play at centre-back and Rice and Zubimendi in front of them. We've still got 6 defensive players. We're 1-0 down. Take off Zubimendi, play Rice in the 6, and put Eze and Ethan as the 2 attacking 8s. Try something more attacking. You don't want to do it. Oh, no, we've put on Eze and Saka. No, thank you. That'll do me. Trossard gets 80 minutes. No idea why, by the way. Every time that ball went to him, I'm looking for an outlet, and he can't run. So we've got a player who can't run as left wing outlet because he wants him pirouetting on the ball and passing it back to Calafiori. And I do not get why he's so defensive now. Do you know, like when you make a mistake and you think, I better not make that mistake again. I'll tweak it. But I'll carry on doing what I'm doing. He does not do that, Mikel Arteta. He takes the notepad and he scrunches it up and he throws it away and starts to clean. I don't know why he does that. Just tweak it. You don't need to rip it up and start again. But he has every season, judges. Which is why when people say to me, I don't like Arteta's style of play, I say, what is it? What is Arteta's style of play? Well, it's... I don't know, actually. Every season it's different. And it is. Because the first season we had 3 at the back and we were lumping it long with Tierney and Lewis smashing it over to Aubameyang. Won us an FA Cup. Season after that, we started to play more with the Smith Rowe, Martinelli and Sakas that have been brought through. Then we got into a Champions League position where we thought top 4 would be good. Brought in Jesus and Zinchenko. Saliba come into the mix and we thought, oh my God, we can actually play Man City football. We're 8 points clear. This is incredible. And then because we threw that away, he scrunched all that up and said, no, resolute, rigid, pass it sideways and backwards. And then we almost won the league. And last year, don't even tell me what he was trying to do there. It was the most boring season I've had in a long time. And I've got to be honest with you, I think this season's going to be the same. I haven't been excited by us once yet. I weren't excited at Old Trafford. I definitely weren't excited at Anfield. Leeds I expected to win, and I was quite pleased that we comfortably beat them. Forest I expected us to dominate because it's Ange Ball, and we did. But I was pleased with how attacking he went in that game. And then we're back to this against Man City. We ain't beating Newcastle, by the way. Just let everyone know that it's going to be a 1-1 draw. Just to let everyone know. We are not winning that. I wouldn't bother going up there, judges. Don't know why you're going up there. We know it's going to be Marino in midfield, 1-1, draw the game, get back, and everyone will say, well, it's a tough place to go. At least we didn't lose. We lost there last year. At least they'll make up all the excuses. There is absolutely zero faith I have in the way we're playing at the moment of winning anything. So when you have the options, and I said to you, right, you've got a left wing option we're not quite sure about yet. The number 10 option we're not quite sure he's going to play. But that's about it. If Saliba's fit, we always knew he was playing ahead of Mosquera. If, you've got all your right backs and left backs fit, at the moment he favours Timber and Calafiori. We know Gyökeres is up top. We knew Madueke was starting ahead of Saka. But we're not quite sure with Rice and Zubimendi who's going to be in the 10 and on the left wing. Right? We even did it together the other day. Who's going to play here and who's going to play here? And I said to you, on the left, we've got Martinelli, who's just come off the bench and scored. Trossard, who's come off the bench and scored. Or you play Eze there. Right? And he's gone with the slowest, out of favour one in Trossard that's the most defensive because he's not got the pace and an outlet because he doesn't want that, right? So I think that's very negative. In the 10, he's not got no Odegaard. Although I agree with you, if he was fit, he would have played. He's the captain. He's not about... You can either play Ethan, who's been sensational for Arsenal when he's come on against Leeds and Forest. You can play Mikel Merino, who's very negative and no one wants to see him there. Or you can put Eze in the middle. And he's gone with Merino. Now, not only that, he's then waited till 70 or 80 minutes before he does anything in the midfield. He goes free at the back by taking Timber off, who I love, by the way, but I thought was poor yesterday, along with Calafiori. I thought both of them had bad games. And then he's gone into midfield, and you're thinking, Rice and Zubimendi are still there. Why are them two still there? What are we defending here? What are we trying to hold on to here? We're losing 1-0. Go for it. So I still don't think, even when he is trying to chuck the kitchen sink at it, as the reporter said on Match of the Day, I don't think he did chuck the kitchen sink at it, if I'm honest with you. I thought he waited again and again too late. So we are playing at the moment with a football squad, and I said this to Jenny in the chat, big up to Jenny. I said this, it's like having a Porsche 911 that can't get more than 30 mile an hour out of. That is what it's like having. We've got a fantastic squad, Judge. This squad is very, very good. Very good. Yeah? I don't know one rival fan that has gone, oh, that's a crap squad. They'll be top 4. Everyone's like, they are looking a very good squad. The most balanced squad in the Premier League, I've heard from a Chelsea fan. Yeah? The strongest squad, maybe not the best 11, but the strongest squad in the league. Some individual quality like Saka and Rice and Saliba that most teams would easily walk into most teams. And we've got this guy who's got the handbrake on. Now, media are saying it. Sky Sports are saying it. Podcasts are saying it. Rival fans are saying it. And now Arsenal fans are saying it. So is he wrong? Is he the one that we're all wrong and he's right? Because yesterday he seemed happy again. The comments are a joke from Mikel Arteta. It's cringe moments from his interviews. I actually cannot stand when he comes out in a press conference and says stuff. People are questioning him, saying, did you get the team selection right? Well, they're brilliant players. They're the ones I wanted to pick. Mikel Merino, no one questioned me when it was Athletic Bilbao. He's fucking stupid, this guy, or what? It's got nothing to do. It's not even the same. It's not even a glimpse of the same game having Man City at home to Bilbao away, Judge, in the Champions League. And he comes out with this crap. It pisses me off, bro.
Listen, a couple of things. I agree with everything you're saying. I bumped into 3 Man City fans going down to the game yesterday. Well, we ain't winning today. We'll take a draw as best thing we know. And I out of curiosity, I said to them, how have you felt? Oh no, every other time we've come here, we've always fancied ourselves, but not today. You're a much better team than us. We're not a good team. We're not as good as what we were. That was what they were saying, you know what I mean? We so that tells you all you need to know, Dan. That the Man City fans come there yesterday not confident, right? But I'd love to have bumped into those fans afterwards when they found out the team selection. I think they would have thought, oh, do you know what? We might get something from this game now. I don't know. I'd love to bump into them afterwards and see what they're saying. Like, you know, listen, a couple of things in Mikel's defence. I don't think he knows his strongest team a bit, or his best team, because he's got so many options. So he's going to have to work that out. I'm going to have to work it out very, very quick. Like, you know, I'm not sticking up for him here. I'm just saying that that's something that you can look at. Like, but what he played yesterday is not the team that's the best Arsenal team. Like, I don't know what his thinking was in that game. You know what I mean? Like, Ethan Wanyeri is not, you know, not going to bang on his door because he's 18 years of age. But I think if he was 23, 24, he would be. So it's easy to leave him out. The decision on Saliba, I don't think there was a right and wrong decision on that. If he'd have gone either way on that, you know what I mean? I don't think Saliba was, I thought Saliba done okay yesterday, if I'll be honest. Like, you know, I didn't think Gabriel was at his best yesterday. I think he got caught up in the battle more than his defensive game. I don't know. The two fullbacks, it's an interesting one, because they've put all defenders on. And look, listen, if I've got one criticism of Timber, is he's not brilliant going forward. It's not his best thing. I think he's wonderful player, but he ain't the weakest part of his game's going forward. So, you know, and I think that was proved by taking him off and going free at the back and all that, like, you know, at the end of the day. I'm going to say that I like that, Dan, that he went free at the back. And went for it, like, you know, got it all that. Should have done it 10 minutes earlier. If you want to win the game, right? But with that comes a risk. But it wasn't a risk. There was no forwards on. So he should have done it. As soon as he took all his forwards off, as soon as he took Haaland and he took Foden off first, then Haaland. As soon as he took Haaland off, right, he should have been right. Let's go for it now. We win another 10 minutes at least to that. Because he's not brave enough. We might lose this 2-0 now, like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. Well, you're brave enough to put a fullback into midfield. You're brave enough to do that. You're brave enough to play with goalkeeper that plays triangles on your 6-yard box and your 18-yard box. Why aren't you be brave in other areas? I don't understand it, like, you know. I just don't understand why he's not brave enough. You know what I mean? Like, now, at the end of it, if there was 20 minutes to go, we could actually lose that 2-0. Like, and at the end of it, you know, you could turn around and say, look, we don't know, Dan. We don't know at this moment in time. Arsenal can win the league by a point, right? And it will be this point that wins you the league. You don't know at this stage. You know, I don't know. But what I'm a little bit peeved with, and I'm still, is that we haven't gone for it. I don't know. We might win the league by 3 points, and it would have been, if we'd have gone for it, we'd have got the 3 points yesterday. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, at the end of the day, they was never, you know, if you do things right yesterday, they're not scoring no more. You know, it's like when we played at the Etihad last season, we wasn't winning that game 3-1. I know we had 10 men, but we was either winning that 2-1, losing it, or 3-2, 4-2, or drawing it 2-2, right? We was never going to score more goals, yeah? And that was the same for them. As soon as they took Haaland off, they were never, ever scoring unless Arsenal done something calamity, you know, which they nearly did, by the way. I don't know if you've seen that one with Eze, and when it's right. How's that not gone in?
How's that not gone in?
How's that not gone in? I don't know. Now, I didn't know that at the time, how bad that was. But if I'm sitting on the bed, I'll go, God's on our side here, like, you know what I mean? Like, because that could have been a disaster. But there was a stage in that game there that he waited to the 80th minute to do what he done. I think a braver manager goes, as soon as Haaland comes off, right, let's put Wanyeri on, let's put Eze in there, let's get even take Zubimendi off, and then just let Rice just holding and all that, like, you know what I mean? Which he did in the end. He took Zubimendi off, didn't he? We should have done that 10 minutes before that he did. And I'm going to say this now. Do you know why I think he's playing? I think if Thomas Partey is in this team, or a player like Thomas Partey, he would have gone with an Ethan Wanyeri up there. I don't think he trusts Zubimendi in that role yet, because he's not really an out-and-out six. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like he's going in different places and all that. Like, so he's having to put Rice in there to just complement that a little bit. And I think that's where we're going a little bit wrong. Like, you know what I mean? If you're going to do that, you've got to say now, right? Okay, Declan, you've got to be the one that's sitting in front of the back four. Let's see if that's the case. I'll have to watch it again, but I'm watching a few of these games. It's not clicking in that midfield as it should be, because that's not the first time. If you look at it, the free kick against Liverpool, they got in behind us and we had to bring him down, didn't we, for the free kick? Otherwise, they're onto our. It happened again yesterday with the goal. Like, you know what I mean? No. Where is our holding midfield player? They're all caught in front of the ball, Dan. You know what I mean? So it's not quite right there, like, you know. So I'm a little bit phased by that. It's not quite there yet. And maybe at the end of the day, and as somebody said, I think in one of our chats, we've had 6 games where you've gone away to Man United, or home to Liverpool, away to Liverpool, and at home to Man City. I ain't really had a chance to bed this in as much, you know what I mean? If you've had a few easier games, I'm not making this. I'm just trying to see how it is like. You know what I mean? I don't think that's quite right yet. So he's not trusting that at the moment. Like, so he's trying to shore it up. I don't. So I get the Mourinho thing to a certain degree, right? I get that. But I can't understand why then you're putting in Trossard. Like, nothing against you. I just don't understand that one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you'd have said to me as a betting man, right, and I put a lot of money on it, who are you playing wide left in this game for Arteta? I would have gone. I think you play Eze in the 10, for instance. Like, it'd be either Martinelli or Eze out on the left hand side would be my first. And even if it was that, do you know what? I think you might play Saka and then put Madueke over on the left hand side before Trossard. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand it. Like, you know what I mean? Now, Calafiori has been fantastic for us and all that. Like, but he's not gonna. You're looking at him yesterday. I was looking at him yesterday. He's the one. I was thinking he's the one that had lots of space in there, Dan, right, to open up things. He ain't you don't want him. I don't mean no disrespect to him, like, you know. I don't want him being the man with all the space and all that. Like, he ain't gonna. As good as he's done for us, he's a defensive left back, like, or central defender. You want someone in there. Maybe Miles Lewis-Skelly would have been one to go in there for this game, like, you know what I mean? I don't know. Horses for courses, somebody said to me yesterday, like, you know. I just don't understand some of the tactics that he's putting in there at the moment. And I'm sorry, but I can't watch his press conferences no more. I can't.
Awful.
If he you know, he talks about whether you think it's right or whether you think it's wrong, talking about the ball, a couple of, you know what I mean, like talking about this, talking about that, saying that, you know, we're the best. You know, I've watched us play PSG, play well against PSG, but they were the better team over 2 games, and he's turned around and saying, "Oh no, we're the better team, the best team." No, you're not. You know what I mean? Don't, you know what I mean? And then again yesterday saying, "Oh well, you know, we that was a better performance than the 5." What do you think of your players? Like, I'm proud of them. Are you? You set up a team to defend and not concede a goal, and you've conceded in 9 minutes at home. How can you be proud of that? How can you be proud of that? Like, you know what I mean? How can you be proud of the players that have let you down? Because you've got all this defensive shape and all that. After 10 minutes, you're 1-0 down. I don't think that's something to be proud of. I'm sorry, you got to be, you know, you got to be a little bit brutal at times. These players are on big money. They're expected to win the league. And after you set them up, right, after 10 minutes, after a brilliant defensive performance in Bilbao, by the way, you can't do it. You know, you're 10 minutes down. You're chasing a game after 10 minutes at home. And again, concede, you know, I mean, where's our first goal that we've conceded in open play? Where is it? Is it in Bilbao? Is it in Anfield? Is it Old Trafford? No, where is it? At the Emirates. And why is that? That's a problem that's been going on and on and on since you come here, mate. conceding goals, sloppy goals, counter attacking goals. So that's something you've not sorted that out. And then you look at you brought in Theo Walcott, like, you know. Now listen, good old Theo. I like Theo, but he's an Arsenal ambassador, so he's not going to go on and be too heavy in criticising Arsenal.
Who did he play with as well, Lee? At Arsenal.
What do you mean?
Well, he played with our manager.
Right,
He's
okay.
He's not going to slag off his teammate.
No, he's not. He was as critical as he could be yesterday.
It was obvious what he wanted to say, but he knows
he can't. He was critical as he could be without being too critical, right? If you know what I mean, like that, like, you know. So what's this? Madueke is undergoing a scan for a possible ASAL.
No, it's rubbish, isn't it? Is that actually true? Someone put it in earlier, but I thought it was a joke. Is that actually true?
Where are you getting? Where are you getting this information from?
Where's the source? Let me know. Go on. Sorry, Lee. Talk about Theo Walker. So it's true. It's true.
So, like, you know, so when you look at it down it, he said something yesterday, like, and whether I agree with him or not all the time, I'm going to true, right? Yeah.
No, it's not. It's fake. What I've just clicked on is a lad with 18 followers who's obviously a troll.
Oh, okay, like, you know what I mean. So, like, well, we don't want that, like, you know.
No, I wouldn't. I don't. Oh, hang on a minute. No, look, some people are. I'm hearing Madueke ACL is true. Absolutely gutting. That's come from Matt Papapinkas, whatever his name is. 19 minutes ago. Can you believe this? If someone's putting out false info about Madueke, I'll be fuming. Hang on a minute. Let's see what else we've got on here. I don't even understand this Madueke ASL rumour. When did he do it? He never went down. That's from Rory. Yeah. If this is true, by the way, this is just a joke, ain't it? I mean, how can we keep getting all these ACL? Let me know if this is actually true. If you find anything in the chat, because we're obviously live.
Yeah, we don't really know, like, you know what I mean. So it's a big worry if it is, but I don't see.
Let me just comment on a couple of things he said in the press conference, which was bizarre to me. His assessment on the game was, "I'm extremely proud of the players and the team, but I'm disappointed with the result." So I agree with you. Don't know what he's talking about there. He was asked if he got the subs coming on at half time. Was that admission that you got the team selection right? That was wrong. It's too easy to say that. It's clear what we wanted to do. Yeah, it was clear what he wanted to do, and he didn't do it. And then he spoke on the other thing that was weird, was what was your thinking behind starting the midfield three? I thought was the best thing to do to start the game. Nobody asked me about the midfield three in Bilbao. They were the things that really wound me up from his press conference. A lot of it was absolute waffle from the rest of it. But you're right about Walcott. You're right about other people as well in the media. They don't want to say he ain't right for it. He ain't done well there, but they basically are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, listen, Theo's got, you know, he's gone as hard as what he can. But he said one thing there, which I agree with, right? And I said, yeah, you're right. You get it, right? When you sign the likes of Eze and you sign the likes of Gyökeres and you sign the likes of these players, what does it do to the fan base? It excites you.
Yeah.
And you want to see those players play, you know what I mean? Big site, like, you know, you want to see them play. So when you're playing at home in a big game, you don't want to see those sort of players not playing. It deflates you. You know what I mean? Like, we bought Eze to be the difference maker for what? Big games or the games that we've struggled in last season, like, you know. And I get that. I get what he's saying, but it does, Dan. I want to see Eze playing, you know what I mean? Because he excites me. I pay a lot of money. You pay a lot of money to go to games. You know what I mean? You want to be excited. You want to see exciting players. I ain't got nothing against Marino, right? And the likes of Marino and those sort of players, you need in the squad. You need those sort of players, right? They're not as great on the eye as an Eze or a whoever, like you want to say, but you need them, Dan, right? But you don't need them all the time, and I don't mean that nastily. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Mourinho will get his games and will do his job and do it very, very well. I said today before the game, I wouldn't have been too peeved if Eze was in the 10 and Mourinho was up top when he left out Gyökeres. I would have got that because it was a lot more possession based. I know we ain't happy about it, but that's how it is. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to go down that route. But, you know, we bought Gyökeres, right, to excite us and score goals and everything like that. And we're not seeing it, Dan. We're not seeing it, like, you know what I mean? And I think that's a problem, like, you know what I mean? Like, we haven't
What's
seen
your
it.
thought? I don't know if you saw Curtis Fan Cam. What's your thoughts on he's not too fussed about the individual performances of Eze or Gyökeres because he didn't want them. He wanted Williams and Sesko. What's your thoughts on that? Do you think that's actually true? Because if that is, that's a disgrace. I don't know that it is, by the way. We won't ever know. It's just opinion. Do you think he's like, well, I didn't want Gyökeres, and this is why I wanted Sesko Havertz coming back in straight away. Eze, I'm going to slag him off and I'm going to call him all these names and I'm going to point at him and tell him he's out of position each time. I just find it bizarre that it took Kai Havertz 9 abysmal games to be given a pity penalty, and the geezer gets him in a headlock and drags him up to the away fans, pointing at him like an arrogant fucker. Yeah. And then Eze has 20 minutes against Liverpool and he goes, oh, he didn't win the game because Eze missed. I think that's disgraceful, personally. And then the Gyökeres thing. I don't think he wanted Gyökeres. I really don't think he wanted. Well, we know he didn't want Gyökeres. He wanted Sesko. So I don't think that he's going to be. He doesn't really comment on Gyökeres, does he? He's not really said, "Oh, he's been brilliant for us. He's scoring goals with it." Not that he has been brilliant for us, by the way. He's doing his job. He's scoring goals. But I don't know what to believe. I don't know if Curtis has got onto something there, or if he's looking at it wrongly. I just don't see the same loving that he had with. He loves Havertz, right? And some people do. I don't. You do. I don't get it personally, and I don't want him back in the side. But I don't really know that he's happy with Eze and Gyökeres, mate. I've got to be honest. Burton made them signings, not him. So is he happy with his squad? Does he want this 11? Is this why he's going a bit more, I don't want to play like this. I want to play like this because you're giving me, I'm trying to do what I want to do, but you're giving me the wrong players. That was what I heard at the weekend. I don't know if that's true or false.
Listen, I love Curtis, and he loves to, and he's got great different takes on things and all that. Like, listen, I'm not going to argue with you, and not going to argue with Curtis that Arteta didn't want. He wanted Sesko. In fact, I believe, looking at the way Sesko plays and the way Gyökeres plays, and it's nothing. I think Sesko would have been the player he wanted, because at the end of it, like, I think he's more of his sort of a player, like, you know. I don't think he wants an out-and-out goal scorer, because it doesn't benefit him with the play, the way that suits his play of possession-based football. It means that Arteta's got to change slightly. And if you're a good manager, you change slightly, don't you? And listen, people can go on about what's Sesko doing at Man United. He's at Man United. It's a different. He might have been different at Arsenal. He might, you know, look, Gyökeres might have gone to Man United and be banging in goals left, right, and centre for them, because he would have suited.
Can I just come in? Can I just ask you a real question, mate? Because I need to know what your thoughts are on this, because I don't know myself.
Go on.
Is Victor Gyökeres not very good, or is Mikel Arteta's style not helping him? Because I think it's the latter. I don't think you can look at a striker that scores 100 goals in 2 years and go, but he's not very good. Or is he, oh my God, he don't suit this league, he's a clown? Because I think he's got 3 goals in 5 games and we're making out like we bought some scrub, like Antonio or something. Like, I honestly do not think that Mikel Arteta has set him up in the games to give him all the goals. Because I don't think, I don't think it matters who's up top at the moment. I really don't.
Listen, I don't think the manager's doing him any favours by not playing to his strength. If I'll be honest, like, you know, am I convincing Gyökeres? Can I be honest?
Yeah, go
I
on.
was slightly disappointed with him.
Okay.
I thought he was a little bit quicker than what I've seen at this moment in time. I felt that he would be a little bit better with his touch than what he has been. But I'm going to go back to it, I don't think he's had a proper pre-season. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. I see things in yesterday's game. I go back to the Bilbao game. He's through, and he put in the end he gets a shot in. But I thought like his pace would have been a little bit better to get him away from that. I felt his touch wasn't great yesterday. There were some good things he'd done. I thought there were some very, very good things that he'd done. I think that. Do you think? I think he'd be a success. Yeah, he will be if he's given the right thing. But I looked at that game yesterday. When are we're putting crosses in? The crosses weren't good enough. You know what I mean? Like there was loads of crosses putting in. Madueke got to the byline on 3 or 4 occasions. Ball was too high. The one time he's had a wonder cross come into him was in a friendly with Zubamendi, great goal. So I don't think he's getting the service that he wants. And listen, when you've got a goal scorer, they're not always, Dan, the best team players, if you know what I mean. Like, they're selfish or do this or they rely on everybody else to, rely on them to be fed. Now, Alan Shearer is one of the best players, but he was fed at Newcastle. And then play Alan Shearer, right, and go, right, we're spending 15 million on you, which was probably about 100 million back in the day, what it would be now, 100 million, and go, right, we're going to play to you. We're going to play. I want you to play with your feet all the time. What it was with Alan Shearer, get the ball in the wingers, cross it, and he'll score goals. And bloody that's what he done, right? A bit better than that, but you know where I'm coming from. I haven't seen us do that to Gyökeres at all. What is his strength? You tell me what his strength is, because I don't know. Do you know why? Because I haven't seen it. Yeah. Is it running? Is he brilliant on one-on-ones? Don't know, because you don't have any. Is he brilliant at crosses? Don't know, you don't get any. What I have seen is on the 2 occasions that he's got goals, one being whipped from Eze, you remember whipping it across and scoring, and the one that he makes himself from a good ball from Calafiori, right? I don't see us get the ball. I see him making runs, Dan, and the ball, I see it again yesterday. There was a chance for Zubamendi to slip him in, and Zubamendi looked at it, rolled it back and played it inside, because maybe keep possession. Be patient. But when you've got a striker like that, it only takes one pass, bang, goal, and you're 1-0 up. So, listen, we played last season without a striker and done okay. We're playing with a striker now and doing okay. I don't know, is he a difference maker? I don't know. And this is something that you got to. I'll tell you. I'll throw you another question out, because we asked this on Forever Arsenal. Do you play him against Port Vale? I do.
Gyökeres.
Yeah, I do. I don't think he will, but I think he needs to. You know what I mean? Because how I see it is that they're not as good as opposition as the Premier League. So played away again. It's not like a training exercise, but I don't want to be disrespectful. But they ain't as good, so maybe it's not so quick. So we can play our passes, play our sort of risky balls to see what he can do. You know what I mean? And then work from there. But I don't know. I think, Gyökeres has got to do a little bit more, in my opinion, for himself. Go, right, I'm getting the ball and doing this and doing that. But I also think the tactics are not helping him out by a long chalk.
No, they ain't at all.
Listen, you wanted Gyökeres. You've got to be slightly disappointed with what you've seen so far.
Of course. I don't think Gyökeres has been outstanding. I wanted the signing. I think it was justified to want the signing with a player who's in Europe is the top goal scorer. I think the signing is a good signing, like everyone does. However, I put more of it on the manager. I don't think we've set it up right at all for him to get any form of chances. I don't think that he's had any one-on-ones. If Gyökeres was going through one-on-one, Lee, and he's missing, I'd be saying we've got a Darwin Nunez. But not Gyökeres isn't missing. He's got 3 games in 5. He's definitely gone into a kind of okay, let me say it this way. Gyökeres is what I thought he would be at Arsenal in terms of his limitations, so to speak. Because when you watch him, you don't look at him and think, fucking hell, this is like Luis Suarez here. He's taking it around everyone, putting it in top bins. That's not what I saw when I watched Gyökeres. But I tell you what Gyökeres is, Lee. He is a killer in front of goal. We have not given him the opportunity to be a killer in front of goal because we haven't fed him. We haven't really provided him any service, other than a few balls we've lumped in the box, which he isn't really known for, putting his head on it. You know what I mean? That's all we've really provided him so far. Anything we have given him, he's put away. For example, Eze squares a ball to him, he don't miss, right? He gets through leads, he shoots, he scores. He gets a penalty, he don't miss. So anything that we've put in front of him, the only thing I can think that he's fluffed was the Leeds first half, where he didn't realise there was no one around him and he rushed the shot and brushed it wide. That's the only thing I've seen him miss so far. Now, that ain't bad in the chances he has had. I think he's buried all of the chances that he's had other than that one, unless you can tell me 3 or 4 different. Now, he's going to miss some goal. Christ, he's not that good. You know what I mean? He's going to miss. All players miss. Messi missed and Ronaldo missed, right? But at the same time, I'm not ready to give up on Gyökeres saying he's a bad player yet until I see him miss chance after chance after chance, like Havertz did. Yeah. Havertz was missing from 1 yard and 3 yards and all that with his eyes closed. So I've given up on him. Marino, to be fair to him up top, I was all right with that because I thought he was actually pretty good. And I thought the chances he had, he pretty much put away. Now I'm looking at Gyökeres and I'm thinking, I don't think it's him. I think it's the players around him that aren't allowing any service whatsoever. The manager set us up in a style that ain't good enough going forward. So that's where I'm at with Gyökeres. I'm not saying this is an insane signing yet until we see it. I mean, it is an insane signing in terms of what I think he's going to bring, but he's got to do it. Yeah, I thought Jose Antonio Reyes was going to be unbelievable when we signed him, bless him, right? RIP. But it didn't quite work for him. Yeah, so that was still a good signing at the time. He was killing it. Real Madrid wanted him. It's still a good signing, but it didn't quite work out for us. And we've had a few like that, to be fair, where we thought, that was pretty good. I remember everyone going mental when we signed Pepe. Oh, my God, we've got the top scorer in France. It didn't work out for him. So you think the signing was, I mean, that's probably a bad example because it was a lot of money, but you get my point. In terms of the excitement of a player, sometimes it don't work out, yeah? So I look at the manager and I think, my goodness, you are set us up in a way that I don't think we're going to do anything. And that was how I felt yesterday. And I'll give you an example, right? Let's go back to the 90s quickly. Arsene Wenger, we're playing Man United. You're buzzing for the game. Me and you were in the pub and the team lineup comes out, right? And we think, I think he's going to go with Overmars on the wing, and I think he's going to go with Henry and Bergkamp and Righty up top, and I think we'll be good with Adams and Keown or whatever it be. And then you look at the team lineup, and this comes out, and you're like, bloody hell, he's gone 5-4-1. What's happening here against Man United? Is he scared or something? That to me would deflate me straight away. And I love these players, and they're all brilliant, but setting them up like this means you're shit scared, right? So I don't want that, Lee. I want him to have faith in his squad and go, I fancy you, Eze. I think you're going to do well today. I think you can get at that right back. And I fancy you, Madueke, to cause that O'Reilly left back a lot of problems because he's a kid. And I fancy Gyökeres with some service and some through balls. Ethan, I'm going to play you because you've impressed me against Forest and Leeds. And I've got faith and belief in you. Because if I'm an attacking player at Arsenal right now, I'm thinking, I'm going to give him a few months, but I might need to move and go and play for Luis Enrique or Pep Guardiola or one of these managers that believe in attacking football because I can't be passing it sideways and backwards for 3 years. Sorry, I think that's what it is. I think that's the way it is.
Listen, and another thing, I think that I was thinking about this quite a lot. That team selection yesterday, right? I've not ever been as deflated on a team selection, like that, when I've been really down going into a game because of the team tag since 2004 semi-final of the FA Cup. Do you remember when we played the FA Cup on Saturday morning? We got the Champions League on I think we had the Champions League on the Tuesday, and we played virtually a reserve team against Man United in the semi-final. Lost 1-0, Paul Scholes goal. I knew as soon as that team come out, we was not going to an FA Cup final. I was so deflated, so annoyed with Wenger, and then of course we go out on the Tuesday night against Chelsea.
Oh, awful!
I don't think that's what that was like yesterday. That team selection, right? Now, if I'm deflated, and a lot of fans are deflated, I think, was some of the players deflated about it? And if we're deflated, like, surely Man City go, they don't fancy it. They don't fancy it against us. And there's always a thing of like, I remember we was playing in a Vets game, and we're playing a team and all that, like, and one of the blokes turned around and said, "What are we worried about them for? We're the better team. What are we worried about who they've got and who they ain't got? Look at what we've got in this dressing room. Look at the players that we've got. We ain't got to worry about anybody else and what he's playing and what he's playing." And that is the position that Mikel's put us in, where I look at our team and I look at it and I go, we're better than Man City. And there ain't a lot of difference between us and Liverpool. Right? There ain't. But I tell you what, when it matters, Liverpool are brave. I tell you what, I don't know, but when we draw in 2-2 at Newcastle, with 2 minutes to go or 4 minutes to go, would even though that they've got 10 men, say they've got 10 men, would Arteta be brave enough to go, do you know what, I'm making a back three and going for it in the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes?
Of course not.
Or do I just go, do you know what? It's better not. We'll take the point. It's better not to. Slot went, no, I'm going for it. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, I look back at that Liverpool game. There was a spell in that game with 20 minutes to go. We could win this game. On that bench, we could win this game, but we could also lose it. What do you want to do, Mikel? Let's not lose it. I think a manager that gets you over the line turns around and goes, let's go for it. I don't know. And I just think that and that game yesterday and that team is the same thing. Like they're there for the meeting was. We've watched them because they all watch. They've got someone watching. They've got someone watching Port Vale, by the way, right? Even though it's the League Cup, they've got somebody watching Man City over the last 3. They have 3 or 4 games before, so they've got all the thing in there, right? All what's on a bit of paper. Just imagine we break it down to a bit of paper. Do you know what? I've watched these 4 or 5 times. They're not the Man City of the past. What do you want to do, Mikel? Do you want to go for it, or what do you want to do? Oh, let's be a bit. Let's stay a little bit cautious. Where I think if you want to get over the line, manager goes, what? They're not quite at it, right? Let's have them. Let's make sure we take. Oh, let's be a bit more conservative. That is not going to get. I think Slot would turn around and go, right, let's go for it. Let's go for it. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day. And listen, it's not been all great with Slot, by the way. I'm not saying it ain't, because I watched that game against Liverpool. If it weren't for the referee and line, whatever the timekeepers of thing going, like, do you know what I mean? Like, well, a normal game now, the minimum you get is 5 minutes. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, Liverpool winning, we'll give you 3 minutes when Everton are on top. You know what I mean? Like, it ain't all hunky-dory at Liverpool neither. And I look at that and go, well, hold on a minute. Well, let's put a bit of pressure on them then. Put a bit of pressure on them. Win that game against Man City. Put a bit of pressure on them. Because I tell you what, their next game's Crystal Palace. Unbeaten in 17 games, Crystal Palace. Right? You never know. But I can see, like, do you imagine if Liverpool lose to Crystal Palace, right? Mikel will go, we'll take the point there at Newcastle. That's a great point now, like, you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, instead of going, well, they've lost, let's go for it now. No. That's a good point now, like, I don't know. That's what I see. I just want him to just be a little bit, go for it a little bit more, because I tell you what, we've got fantastic footballers at this football club now. We've got an unbelievable defence. We've got brilliant midfield players, and we've got some attacking options that other teams would die for, Dan. You know, I look at Spurs, you know what I mean? Like, you know, Robbie was saying to me, what about Spurs and that? Spurs would love to have what we've got off the bench. They're getting to their first thing. They're forward.
Okay, I don't know what Robbie's trying to say, but you can't look at Tottenham, how they set up. Yeah, but Tottenham set up because they're Tottenham. This is not, we're not Tottenham, are we? Right, let's just say how it is. We have got a much better squad than them. We shouldn't be looking at getting ideas from how Tottenham beat Man City. For me, it's crazy, if I'm honest with you. I just want to give a quick shout out, Lee, to Ryan. Big up to Ryan, because I know that you're not well, mate, and you're in hospital at the moment. So big up to you, mate. I hope you do make a full, speedy recovery, and hopefully you can sit and chill and listen to a few podcasts to get you through the day, mate. So big up to you, mate, because he's a big fan of the channel and big fan of us, Lee. So he's not well at the moment. So hopefully he'll get well soon.
Get well, sons. Get well soon.
Absolutely. Let me do these super chats, Lee, before we come to a close. Giovanni, thank you for the super sticker, mate. Absolute legend. Really appreciate you. Richard says, Arteta out button. He's taken us as far as he can. A lot of people saying that today. Nishan has said, Liverpool fan, but gotta love the gaffer. There we go. Big up to you, mate. Jordan says, best squad we've had at the Emirates era, yet we're playing the most boring defensive, cowardly football. It's pathetic. Arteta out if the Cronkies are serious. We're going to get a lot of this, if I'm honest. I liked this comment and I highlighted it. This is a Liverpool fan. He says, lads, you're two level-headed fans. And as a Liverpool fan, Arteta is perfect for us. His captain choice. It's poor. In-game management is poor. Stubbornness. He won't gamble. Compare Virgil. Yeah, I get a lot of this, by the way, from rival fans, Lee. We want Arteta to stay. He's doing a great job. And we all say that about Amorim. Richard, he comes for you, Richard. He does like seeing the super chits coming for you, Lee. Lee, you said last week that if Arteta starts that midfield three, we're not winning anything this season. So surely that means Arteta has to go. Get him out.
At the end of the season, I'm with you.
Fair play.
Still not the end of the season at the moment, listen. If he doesn't win anything this season with that team, bye. Because it's true what somebody said yesterday, and I come with this. Do you know Luis Enrique? Would you take Luis Enrique?
Yes.
Well, we won't get him because he's at PSG. Mikel Arteta is on over double the amount of money that he's on.
Thanks.
So he would come.
Of course, we'll get him.
Do you know what I mean? Like you're paying
the manager as well.
You're paying the manager double the amount of someone like Luis Enrique. Double, the highest paid manager, I do believe, is Pep
and Simeone are the two.
Simeone is the highest, and then it's Pep, and then it's Arteta. Right? So when people say, so listen, I don't want my manager. If I be honest, I'm not an Arteta out. Let's be honest. I like Arteta. I think he's done a great job for Arsenal. But I don't want a manager that, when it comes to a home game against a big team,
of course,
not going for it, not being being afraid to lose a game of football. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. I'm sorry, you know what I mean. That's what I'm saying. Sorry,
I'm with you, Richard.
Sorry for waffling, but there you go.
And this makes me laugh. This one, Richard says, Calafiori seems to have the most freedom in the team. Arteta screaming at Eze, whilst Calafiori's playing left wing, right wing, and centre mid. He ran past me in Tesco's yesterday. I love that. That is class. That is class.
Yeah, I get that though. I actually see that you know what I mean, like. He's getting Trossard, telling him to get back, telling Martinelli, and then all of a sudden, Calafiori's going running past him and he says nothing. So I get that. That.
Jack says it feels like Bryson on a par 5 taking the PW off the tee. Kahir says always ball to feet, slows us down and stops chances. And Jamie has finished by saying that Madueke has an ACL. Now I'm looking as best as I can and all I can see is just rumours of it. It does not have any confirmation at the moment. But I did see this, which was quite interesting, which I didn't see yesterday, which is a kind of footage of Madueke limping down the tunnel. As you can see, does not look good there. And they are saying that they are checking for an ACL. Now, when they say that, Lee, it don't normally sound very good. Now,
well, listen, before everybody goes mad about it, if he's got a knee injury or he's picked up a little something in there, and as you can see, that's the first thing they're going to do is scan it. That's what they do. You know what I mean? You're off for scans. You know what I mean? Like, now that doesn't mean to say you've got an AL, you know, like ACL from that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just common practice that you go and have a scan. You know, and it don't look good. It is a bit of a worry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because what happens is, like, listen, I when I've done mine, I'm only going to say from experience was like I've got this little pain in my knee. I don't know what it is like, and I went and see like my fella called Wes, who used to be physio at Ipswich, and he done all the tests and everything like that. And he goes, I tell you what, I think you've done. I think you've torn your cartilage. I think you've torn it to the side, not straight. If it was a straight, it would lock. So I think that, you know, but probably you're going to have an operation. It's probably going to be like shaved, but, you know, blah, blah, blah. You'll get back. But at the end of the day, blah, blah, blah. Off I go to have the scan, comes back the scan. It's exactly what he said was wrong with me. So these physios would have done some tests on him there, and they might have thought, oh, this could be ACL. Like, we don't know, but we need to check it out. So then we'd have done some tests on him. And the possibility is it could be now if they're doing that, like, you know.
Oh, can you imagine? I mean, Saka's back now, but still, I don't think Saka's 100%. And we've got Ethan that can play out there, Max Dowman can play out there, so maybe we'd have to rely on the kids a bit more if Madwick.
Well, the other thing, he ain't going to be the same when he comes back from it, neither.
But how are we getting these in? How can we get ACLs and hamstring tears this many? This needs investigating, surely. You can't be doing this. How can we be doing this? Havertz, Jesus, Ben White, Saka, Havertz, Gabriel, now Madueke. Nkapie's got an injury. We've got Erdegaard who still don't look right. He's injured. It's like, what is happening here, mate? How can we have 8 players that have all got knocks or... Is it training? Is it unlucky? Is it the training ground? Is it the pitch is concrete? What's going on here, mate?
I don't know. You know, I mean, listen, these pitches are not the same now, because you have a look at Martin Odegaard. He falls over and he's like done his show. He's not the only one that's done that, by the way. I've seen that happen 3 or 4 times. Like, you know, that players have like, so those grounds must be firm. That, you know what I mean. I was lucky enough to go on the pitch against at Bournemouth last season. I couldn't believe how wet it was, for one, right? But it weren't soft underneath. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, say that much giving it. Like, if you can see that, like, and then it was hard. You know what I mean? I don't know what they don't have to chuck a lot of water on it on these pitches as well, don't they? Like, I don't know if you notice it before the game that they're on, that half time they're on. You know, I maybe the drainage is too good, that they're too hard. I don't know. I don't know.
It needs investigating for me, because there's no way this is. So even a manager is flogging them in training and it's too intense. It's just bad luck, and Arsenal were just cursed. Or there's something wrong with the training facilities, because you cannot get this amount. I know yesterday is just one of those things people say anything can happen in a game. Was it a game, though? Was he already out of a niggle or something? I don't know. I've got absolutely zero understanding. I'm not a doctor, but we should not be getting this many injuries. That is a fact. We should not be getting this many injuries. I don't know a season where I've seen 3 players, Lee, have a grade 3 hamstring tear that needs surgery. I don't know any times I've seen ACLs. We've had Timber, Jesus, and now potentially Madueke in 2 seasons. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't be getting an ACL saying that can happen to one player every 5 years potentially, and that would be like common. It should be getting 3 in 2 years, and 3 hamstring injuries in 1 year that all require surgery. Nah, man, the Saints up. Saints up, mate. Thanks up. Anyway, look, we've got to go because I've got another show. I've got to go over
Yeah,
the side.
no
Last one.
worries. Yeah, no worries. Mate. Yeah.
Personnel's changed, tactics haven't. We won't win anything under this manager, I'm afraid. Boring, sideways, and defensive. Look, it's been a long show, but we're going to send you over to Saeed. I'm about to go live over there with him now, so come and show him some love. And Lee, I'll let you say the last word, mate.
Yeah. Listen, disappointing result, disappointing day. But listen, as an Arsenal fan, if you score in the last minute, you are allowed to celebrate it.